y'all doing?
Hey, John.
Good.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Jihaad, after the rehab from surgery, what's it feel like to get out there? You're doing team drills. Just how's it been so far?
I mean, as good as it could be right now. Just very excited to be out there with with the group that we have this year. And I'm just really excited to, just get to work each and every day.
Is this sooner than you expected?
Say it again?
Is this sooner than you expected to be out here?
I mean, I just trusted the process in my rehab. I'm still rehabbing. Yeah.
When did they let you know that you would be able to go at least a little bit first day of camp?
Really just talks within, my rehab people, all the trainers in there, and, coaches and Howie and Nick, just understanding my process and, what steps I need to, take moving forward.
How did you attack the mental part of it when you weren't able to get on the field?
Just being where my feet are, right? I'm not out there with the guys, but I can take mental reps as much as I can. Just practicing like a pro mentally, so physically and mentally when I get out on the field, I gradually know what I'm doing, day by day.
Big Six looks for instincts in a young linebacker. How much of that do you think is natural? How much can you actually improve on that?
I mean, I would say, most of my instincts are, God-gifted abilities, that I display out here on the field every day, as much as I can. So.
They have you listed as limited. What kind of, you have your participation listed
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
They have your participation listed as limited. What kind of restrictions are there on you right now?
I mean, right now, I'm just taking it day by day. Like I said earlier, man, I'm really excited to, be out here and play football again. Like I said earlier, I just was taking mental reps a lot. So now I can get out here and, fly around.
Will you be able to meet pads on Monday?
Yes.
What kind of learner are you? Like, was the challenge of getting into the playbook something that you really embraced and that you found very natural?
Yeah. I think, just being a linebacker in general, you always got to, be a lifelong learner, at any given aspect, honestly. With me and my process, everything was really mental. It's still mental. Just keeping my mental in my eyes in the playbook helps me very well, when I come out on the field and perform.
Are you learning both inside linebacker spots?
Say it again?
Are you learning both inside linebacker spots?
Yes.
And then I think after the first practice, so you talked with Wash after practice.
Yeah.
How much do they bring you along in terms of like edge stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I think, the biggest thing is just focusing on, the now, focusing on, being a great linebacker. And then, of course, on the side after practice, just get a couple reps in, just with my pass rushing ability and, making sure I'm taking the right steps in that.
A few times after you're taking a rep or something, you go right up to Zach Vaughn and you're talking to him.
Yeah.
How vital of a resource has all this for you?
Very resourceful. I mean, he's a great leader. He's a great guy to, just be around, not even just in football, but just in life, just talking to him outside of here. I really appreciate him.
Sort of piggybacking off that with Nakobe Dean, because he was rehabbing during the spring with you. You guys were talking a lot. How helpful has he been to sort of lock in with those mental reps? How helpful has he been to lock in with some of those mental reps when you had to take them?
Yeah. I mean, Nakobe, he's been there and done it, so he's a guy that can help me learn it, just as much as he learned it in the past and, just pass it on to the, to the rookies in the room. That's a great guy, also a great leader, and, he helps us.
How much more involved is Vic's defense than maybe Alabama was always a Big Ten program, but how much more involved is this defense for a linebacker than it was at Alabama?
I mean, I think, that was the past, of course. This defense is a very great defense, along with our great defensive coordinator that we have here. I think, just stepping into this year for our defense is, step-by-step process. Everybody just being on one accord and communicating.
What's it been like to learn from Vic Fangio as a rookie to come in? Fangio, obviously, a ton of experience. What's it been like learning from him so far?
It's been great. He doesn't do extra talking. He gets straight to the point, and he expects you, to understand it and to apply it on the field.
He's worked with some pretty famous Hall of Fame type guys who have been in the Hall of Fame at inside linebacker spot. he said he spent a lot of time in the spring talking to you. Is there one or two things that stood out in terms of like what he has conveyed to you about how to play position that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, just coming into the NFL, it's different structural things, from a coaching standpoint that, he explains, within the defensive scheme that we have here, and, the structure and, the linebacker position that I'm playing, just understanding that role, knowing how to play it, and, I mean, just performing at my best when I get out here on the field.
Growing up pretty close to here, have you had any family, friends come out to camp yet to watch or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had my mom, my dad, my brother, and my uncle. He came out, so it's very great being back home. So family could come out here and watch me.
With Kobe sidelined right now, there's a starting role up for grabs. How are you balancing just the need to get healthy and get back into the swing of things, with also the prospect that you could potentially compete for that role?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just blessed that I'm healthy right now. And like I said, man, I'm really happy to be out here on the field and, flying around with our defense, being around the offensive guys, and just learning and soaking in a lot of knowledge as much as I can, so I can apply it every time I get in the field.
Has Vic been from any of those guys? Jeff was alluding to the great linebackers. Did you brought any of those names? Has Vic, when he's talking to you, mentioned any of those guys, or brought up the names of the great linebackers he's coaching and so who?
No, he hasn't.
Last one.
So film, he hasn't showed you film of specific players yet?
Say it again?
He hasn't showed any film of specific players to you yet?
I mean, we watch, different defenses sometimes, understanding the schemes, understanding, just the situations in the game, the down and distances, what offensive schemes there are, in the league. So.
All right, we got Jalyx Hunt coming. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Good.
I feel like these first 2 games going for you. I don't think it plays consistent.
I think really well. I mean, obviously we still don't have pads, so it's kind of similar to OTAs, but I really enjoyed that OTA time, just getting to know everybody, kind of getting that locker room vibe. And it's been fun, it's been good, and having fun being out here and competing.
What's been your impression of the guys in the running back group so far?
Awesome. I've known Say for a little bit, obviously both being from the East Coast, having some mutual coaches and friends in the league. So that was pretty easy to get to know each other. And then Will and all those other guys in there are awesome to be around. And so it's fun. We just push each other every day, make each other a little bit better.
Coming off last year, and I know you said you've been ready for a long time.
Yeah.
How excited are you to get on those pads since you were unable to play last year?
I'm excited, man. I've been playing football since I was 8 years old, and so dang near 18, 19 years. So to be able to be out here and playing some ball, I'm excited. I can't wait. You got one more time. Yeah, it's been awesome, man. I like the way the offense has been running, man, and it's cool. It's one thing when you're somewhere else for a long time, like most guys who go to a different team, just kind of there's only so many words in football, so kind of relearning the same word as something else and stuff like that. But it's pretty digestible, the offense here, and I'm excited to just keep it coming a little bit faster, not think so much.
Kevin Joe was talking earlier about how you fit into the offense, you thought that your receiving ability. I know it's too early to talk about like how many snaps or reps you're going to get, but how do you feel like you fit as far as just your skills in this offense?
Yeah, I think, hey, our room is great, obviously. We got a lot of awesome weapons on this offense. And, I think as far as like my individual ability, I feel like I can pride myself on being able to do anything out of the backfield. And I've done that throughout my career, whether it's catching, running, pass pro, I've done that in my career. So I think however they see fit to use me and my skill set, there's a lot of guys in that room that can do a lot of things. So it's always great when you're on a team with a lot of weapons, keeps the defense guessing. And it's fun to be out there, and you might get a play call that defense might not be expecting drawn up for you.
How would you describe yourself as a pass catcher?
Just that, I caught a lot of balls, from quarterbacks, and I've scored receiving touchdowns before. Just like running, I played running back for a long time in the league, so I think that's all just kind of part of it. I can do it all, so excited about it.
How does your
Yeah. That's the new kick return. It's essentially kind of like, if you're looking at it from a running back perspective, it's kind of like running an inside zone. where you get the ball and then you just kind of go get vertical. So that's definitely new for me. But hey, I'm excited for the opportunity. Excited to go out there and just keep playing ball.
Have you ever done that before? Like,
Back in high school, we did some returning. Back in high school, we just did like whatever to get the ball. Like I did wildcat a little bit. So, but it's exciting, man. We're having fun. I'm getting the reps now, so that's what this time's for. Just kind of getting a feel for it.
is when the pads go on next week, is that a big step for you?
I don't think so. I don't really, think anything about that. I'm not focused on last year at all or anything like that. I play ball, pads on, pads off, OTAs, camp, postseason, whatever it is. I'm playing ball. So that's just something added as the ramp-up period goes on. But same mindset for me. Putting pads on doesn't change. I've had pads on my whole life.
You actually had a play today where you were tackling the ground, not supposed to be tackling up.
Yeah.
Went down and got right back up. Is that pretty much an indication of
Yeah, I mean, we were running a screen play. It's hard for guys to block with no pads, so, all of our feet got tangled up there a little bit. But, no, I mean, there's no hesitation, nothing in the back of my mind, man. I'm just playing ball. That play right there, you got to go get vertical, get as many yards as you can, third down. So, in a real game, probably putting my pads down and running through that. But, you got to practice like a professional, too, try to keep everybody up. Obviously, and when you fall, watch out for everybody's legs. So trying to keep everybody healthy. It's a long time till we're playing some games, and as this team knows, it's a long season here. So
when you go down, though, is that, during the regular game you're going to go down, is that at least reassuring enough?
yeah,
I'm fine.
I mean, I've known I've been fine for a long time. The only person thinking about any of that injury stuff is everybody else. Nothing from me. I've been squatting. We got the squat competitions in there. We do all this stuff, all OTAs. We've been running, hitting the bags, all that good stuff. I'm good to go. But, football is football, and football is fun.
I know, have you and your wife had a chance to explore the food scene yet?
We have, yeah. My wife, she runs our Dining with the Dillons account. She's a big foodie influencer, and, we did a bunch of the Rittenhouse stuff during OTA, so that whole little circuit. We had a little easy day, so I went, tried to be a little healthy. I went to Blue Corn, the Mexican restaurant. Fire. Tacos are amazing, and they're light too. They're not like the big crispy ones. Trying to have a good healthy diet. But yeah, a little cheat day, some tacos, no cheese, fantastic.
And during OTAs, what stood out?
Man, I'm a steak and potatoes guy, man. Not Barclay Prime. Butcher and Singer. Butcher and Singer has my heart so far. I haven't been everywhere in Philly, obviously, but that place is fire.
Have you crossed paths with Jihaad Campbell much in any of the team reps? And I guess what's been your impression of him so far?
A little bit. I think he's a great young talent. Obviously, you can see why he was drafted where he is. He's going to be I think he's going to be a playmaker for this team, but also in this league for a long time. So it's really cool. It's my favorite thing always with rookies coming from like OTAs when they get here and then they get back and say, oh, now stuff's starting to click for them a little bit. And, we had a rep, I think, the last open practice, so 2 days ago, where he's kind of like guarding some of the Baxton man and stuff. And, he moves really well for a guy his size. So it's good to have him on our side.
You mentioned, Saquon a little bit from previously. Has he helped make your transition to Philly a little bit easier? And what stands out about him as a teammate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one, obviously, he's a tremendous teammate. I think all you guys who have interviewed him and stuff, you've seen how he interacts with the team and stuff like that. He's a very team-first guy. But also, I think him coming here last year and it being his first year here, when I'm asking him, like, hey, like, what's this like? He's like, oh, man, I had that same question. Or, yeah, it's tough because this, in my old offense was this, so this is how I relearned stuff. So really just like a lot of word association, and then just kind of understand the way every team, every offensive line has a different blocking philosophy and how they're coming off stuff. So slowing the game down a little bit, pressing the line on something where I would maybe previously, like, hey, this is going to open up, give it a sec, be patient here, or trying to learn the little nuances of how our team kind of plays things out with a lot of stuff that he went through last year. And so it's great to have him, obviously, on the field, but also as a resource and as a good friend.
Did you win the spot competition?
I did not when we did it in OTAs, but we'll keep it going.
Who won?
It's tough. Say did win though. Say did win. We had a lot on there.
No, apologies if you've been asked this before, but I was just talking to Kevin too earlier about whether this is still a run-oriented offense. And you talked about how it being
for Eagles offense. As you looked at it, like what was your impression coming in, and what's your impression now when it comes to how the run game is part of this team?
Yeah, I think when you look at the offense and like you said, the Eagles offense, you take a step back and you look at, like I said earlier, the weapons that are on this team, you really can't say, I think it's really just one of those things where as an offensive coordinator, you're blessed in the sense that whatever that defense is preparing for, they want to try to stop the run today. Okay, you got amazing receivers outside, tight end, you got a quarterback who can run and pass. Like, it's one of those things where you have so many weapons. So I don't think the Eagles offense is a run or a pass. It's just really whatever is clicking, we're going to feed the hot hand. And there's a lot of talented guys out here on this offense.
You mentioned some of those nuances with the running game. You were on some good teams in Green Bay.
Yeah.
The Eagles are known with Stout and Jamal for their running game. Have you gotten a feel of what the Eagles have done so well as a running team?
Yeah, I think so. As far as on paper, real football starts when you kind of put on the pads. O-line can really start to push people out the way and everything. But no, I think we've watched enough tape. I've gone back and kind of watched last year's saves and even in years past, and most of the same guys up front. Just kind of what the game plan is, how they're coming off doubles, things like that, where they're pushing to. And, they obviously have a lot of success and have for many, many years in succession. So as a running back, it's a great place to be. It's a great offensive line to run behind. And, I'm excited for the opportunity.
Apologize if you've been asked, but sometimes when you get something taken away from you, you realize how much you miss it. What's it been like for you getting back out here from that standpoint?
Yeah, no, like I said, kind of piggybacking off that. I'm excited for the opportunity. I've been playing football my whole life since I was, 7, 8 years old. So, 20 years. So, to get back out here, it's always fun. It was great to get out here during OTAs, get used to the guys, get used to kind of the playbook, the offense a little bit, and then, that's what this whole period's for, just to kind of assimilate myself within this offense, figure out exactly how I can help a Super Bowl team be even better and what I can bring to the table.
What did you miss most? Did you miss the guys, the camaraderie, the competition, what your body felt?
I want to say, just competition, honestly. Like, it's one of those things that everybody says. I know a lot of guys who played sports and then they retire. It's like, well, golf's the only thing that, brings me that sense of competition nowadays. Well, I'm not good at golf, so I need to get back to the football field.
Rounds in the mix, one. Right.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you.
What's up, y'all?
How are you? Jalyx, you've been getting some rave reviews. I don't know if you heard, but Jordan Mailata said some really nice things about you, Nolan. How are the first couple of days of camp go? How do you feel?
First couple of days of camp, getting back into football shape, running to the ball, being under Vic Fangio's rule, got to hustle. But I'm really just working, head down, getting prepared for the season with everybody else. Shout out Jordan, though. And Nolan, I'm really trying to keep up with Nolan. Nolan sets a high bar in the room. Coming back after the season he had, real good season. So I'm trying to fall in line and meet the standard.
How do you keep up with Nolan?
Just work. That's it. He's a workhorse. And, it's going to show if you don't work in that room especially. So just keep my head down and work with him.
You've been going against Jordan quite a bit, I think, in practice.
Yeah.
What's that experience been like? Of course, going against Lane Johnson, I guess, a lot last year.
Different setters, both great tackles. So I'm learning the same way I was last year. So just asking questions after reps, after practice. Me and Jordan, after our conditioning, we just topped it up for a little bit. I'm asking him questions about his sets and how I can beat him in practice. And Jordan's such a competitor. He knows that if I get better, it's going to make him better. So he's trying to tell me all the secrets so that we can both benefit later on in the season.
I saw A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley. They seem to not leave you alone at practice.
Thank you for saying that. They was not. Somebody write that down, please. I'm going to clip that because Saquon was saying I was following him. All right, bet. So, yes, they were following me into the – yeah. My bad. What's up?
Well, what do they say to you? What are they giving you a hard time about?
I look at them as role models. When your players is such high caliber as them, and as humble as they are, they kind of just, bring great energy every day. So whenever I can mess with them, I like messing with them. But I really just like to be around them, ask questions, pick their brain a little bit. So on the way in, I was just letting them know that defense won today. Defense won the third downs, and he was talking about, all right, like Saquon talking about double AJ. He's telling you got to double AJ, but everybody's just working. It's all good fun. It's all good competitive fun. So that's all it was, chirping back and forth.
Hey, Jalyx,
What's something that you're doing this summer that you would not have been able to do last summer?
A lot. I did a lot this summer, just in an effort to learn. So last year, just getting into shape so that I can practice as hard as I could, so I can learn as much as I could. And then I learned so much last year that I put into effect this summer. So I'm going to different pass rushing summits. I'm talking to different rushers, top rushers in the league, just picking their brain this year. I went to see them. I went to work out with them, just to know some of the secrets of the trade, so I can use them, steal a little bit. They say great ones steal, so I'm trying to steal a little bit, pick from everybody's rushing styles, but also find my own.
How does Vic let you know that he's expecting more from you this year?
Yeah, he gives you opportunities. He's the type of guy, I'm so grateful that he's believing in me to be putting me out there in the field, to want me on his defense, to be able to work for him. So I don't take that lightly at all. So whenever I'm given an opportunity to do anything in a package and on a regular downs, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. Talk to him, ask him questions, just work.
The guys who were picking their brains, did you work out with some guys in Houston?
Yeah, I went to the pass rushing summit. So I'm out there, not Lane. He did the tackle. I'm out there, Von Miller, Max Crosby, Cam Jordan, like everybody. Nolan was out there with me. So really just picking the brains. Willie McGinnis, just asking questions. Why do you long arm like this? How do you set up a long arm? How do you set up your spin? How do you set this up? What's your counters? Really getting into pass rushing details that a lot of people overlook, that don't really care about. But when you're in a room, how I'm in a room with Coach Wash, and he has such a high standard, and he loves rushing so much, and I love rushing so much, you kind of get into the nitty-gritty details that not a lot of people care about and a lot of people overlook, and that's what I'm trying to benefit and be a technician on.
Names that you're listing high up there. Yeah. Year 2 for you, what is it like to be in that company?
It's very humbling. Those are people you aspire to be. Those are people you aspire to be like. And like I said, I have no problem picking the brains of anybody who's in a better position or in a position that I want to be in. I've never been that type of guy who's I have a chip on my shoulder, but I'm not cocky about it or anything. I'm a confident person, but I can understand, and I'm confident enough to realize that people are not necessarily better than me, but in positions that I want to be in, and they've done things that I want to do. So I'm gonna ask them about those experiences. Say again?
Mortal Jomo has been created. What have you
My
seen?
dog.
Yeah. What have you
Twitchy, man. Twitchy. He's one of those people on the inside. I don't got to worry about it. If you mess with him, JC, JD, like Book, anybody on the inside, yeah, you on your own. You on your own. So especially Morrow, he's a workhorse. Twitchy guy, strong man, always hustling to the ball. If you watch film, you're gonna see him 20 yards down the field chasing the ball. I mean, he's made tackles. Book is the same way. So having somebody like that inside, I can't be outshined by a D lineman. I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm an edge. So yeah, great guy.
What goes behind the scenes a little?
Yeah. For sure. Be who you are, man. Rush how you rush. It's not just one person that said that. It was all of them, and they all have very distinct styles of rushing. Find out who you are, stick to it, and just hone your skill. So talking to Coach K, he was saying he doesn't fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks, but the man that knows one kick and has done it 10,000 times. So that's what I'm really focusing on. I'm trying to master my one kick so that I can rush against anybody the same way and beat them on it, regardless.
Do you consider yourself a power rusher, a speed rusher? What do you think you're best?
That's what I'm figuring out right now. That's what camp is all about. Finding out what you want to do during the season, honing in your skills. It's third day, so I'm throwing everything I can at Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, whoever else, Lamb, whoever wants to step out there, just so I can see different sets and different moves against them.
In the behind-the-scenes clips that we saw last week in camp, you called home almost in awe of being with the first team, going against Lane Johnson. Is that sensation gone now? Does it feel different now going against those guys?
Man, no. It's always glory to God to be out here, and I don't take this for granted. This is something that I haven't been able to experience a whole bunch in my life. So just being on grounds like this, around people, surrounded by people who are of this caliber and also great people, is a very humbling experience. And every time I come out here, like before camp, I walked out here and nobody was out here. It was just me. And I called my homeboys from back home, FaceTime, just in awe, saying thank you, called all my family members and whatnot, because it's still very much so a blessing. But at the same time, since it is my second year, I'm a lot more comfortable being here. And it's something that I wanna get used to, because when you get used to something, it's like, wow, I really belong here. I'm really here. And I definitely feel like I belong here. But it's just amazing to be here. Like I said, all glory to God.
How y'all doing today?
There's so much competition on defense and secondary specifically. How much does that bring out of you guys? How healthy is that?
It's great. All competition is good competition. You always talk about iron sharpens iron, whether it's offense versus defense, but being in the same room with guys who wants to compete, who aren't afraid of competition, it brings out the best of you. And then the good thing about the competition is no one is afraid to help the next man. So I think that's what I love the most about not just the room, but this group in general, to be able to help each other one by one, ask questions to the defense, ask questions to the offense, what they're looking for, how to get better. So the competition just brings everybody up.
Whenever he's moving Cooper around, he was talking about how, in the genesis of that, it might be how those positions at safety and corner work out for themselves. Do you take that as that you need to prove to yourself and to Vic that you need to be on the field full time?
Repeat the first part. You said
with Cooper playing safety or corner?
Okay. I think it just gives everybody an opportunity to show what they can do, regardless of who's where and who and what's what. You never know where they may actually go, and that's the great thing about football. They always say the best ability is availability. So wherever it is you can play and where you can be, you just want to be able to go out there and showcase. And when they give you tools or coaching points at one position, everybody should be writing them down, and we all do, because you never know. They might say, all right, ask you a question about it, or just throw you out there, see if you've been listening and see if you're prepared. And you might not get those physical reps, but mentally, if you can get those and go out there and show them on the film, it'll help you out a lot.
How do you approach your role specifically as a veteran guy in a young cornerback room, but you also have that significant competition you were just talking about?
I done been through every phase in life already. You know what I mean? I done started, I done went in the first round, started, I done went and had to only play third downs, come off the bench and not be there. So to be at the top and to be at the bottom is one of the things that I appreciate that the Lord has let me see, So I think having those experiences and then being able to talk to the guys so they don't get discouraged, because I done been there before, and just being that extra voice or whatever it may be to reassure them. And I only do it when they need and they ask me to, because at the end of the day, I know when I was young and I had the older guys talking to me, that went through one ear and out the other, but it retained, because now when I'm older and I go through it and I experience it, I'm able to, each one teach one, as they say, and be able to pass that along to them. So I think that's helpful, just to keep working on my game and keep learning from them guys, because they do a lot of things that I appreciate and that I like, and I tell them every day after we finish, like, I appreciate y'all regardless of what's going on. Because you never know how many of these you get, and you never know how your opportunity may be. So you just got to be in that moment, be where your feet are, and appreciate everything.
Defense different than any you've been around in terms of the way it goes about the business?
I think every defense that I've played for has always been different. And one thing I would say will be different is just Vic and his demeanor, and how he talks and how he approaches the game. And you can tell that he is very respectable. And the only thing that I could probably be related to would be when I was in Tennessee my first year with Dick LeBeau, and having that, that guy up there, and that like, that's Dick LeBeau. And then when he speaks, everybody listens. You can feel that, you see that, and then he can tell you good stories and help you out, and you don't get discouraged because he done seen it all and been through it all. And that's what I loved about Dick LeBeau, and what I appreciate a lot about Vic. And he's able to show us the mistakes to be able to correct, and then if we make them, show them some other elite guys doing it as well, and understand like it's okay, but we have to learn from it, and I appreciate that.
On both sides, cornerback, where do you historically play more on, left or right?
I done been everywhere. I done been left, been right. I done traveled the number ones. I done played inside. So I think that's the best thing about being. That's why it's called corner. It's not left corner, right corner. It's corner. You can put me on the field corner, the other corner. You can put me outside on the corner on the street. You know what I mean? It's still gonna be the corner. It's the same thing. So you just go out there and understand and embrace that when you're out there, you never know what may happen, but you should always be prepared and be ready to go.
In the spring, you caught Kelee Ringo like a shirt at the time. Since you spent the spring with him and now, like the early part of training camp, what are you noticing about him on the field and how much he's progressing?
He impresses me a lot for the fact that he's 6'2". I always say he's 220. He might say he's not that big, but he can run a 4.2 any given day. You know, he can wake up and just run that fast. And I think that's very impressive to me. And for him to be as composed and to be as humbled as he is. You know, you would think somebody, when they got all those tangibles, they'll be an arrogant person, but he is very humble. He helps me out a lot when I have any questions. Like I said, I didn't know he was from the West Coast. He's from Arizona, so to be able to talk to him and have a similar lingo and similar connection that way is always better. And I appreciate him a lot for being able to help me out and vice versa.
What's it been like going against Devontae and AJ, two of the top receivers in the league on a daily basis?
Oh, man, I love it. I talk to those guys every day after practice, whatever it may be, ask them what they was thinking here, or if I do this, what you thinking, or vice versa. So I think just having that, as I said earlier, iron sharpen irons just helps bring the best out of you, and you have to embrace it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you understand if you're going against two elite receivers every day, they're getting you ready and prepared, and, you know, it's a quote that Jordan says, you don't go in a game or go in anything fearful or worried because you put in the work. And if you put in the work against those two guys and hone in your craft and be confident in yourself to go out there and do it day after day and understand, as Dick LeBeau used to say, or Deshae Townsend, they get paid to make plays too, but at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and compete.
Here, has there been any coaches, players that have kind of talked to you about how they want to get to another Super Bowl for guys like you that haven't been a part of one?
I mean, it's one of those things that don't got to be said. You can just tell by how they work, how they approach the game. When I first came in, I tell them, whatever y'all want me to do, need me to do, willing to do, I'm going to do it. I mean, obviously, I got the foundation, everything laid out. I just want to show y'all that I'm a part of the group, and I'm buying in, I'm bought in to whatever you guys, you know, whatever the formula is. So you don't really have to say much. You can just go out there and see how they work. Okay, cool. I got to do that as well. So I think that's the great thing, that even though that they won, it's not them walking around like, yeah, we won a Super Bowl. It's like, all right, well, shit, let's keep working. Let's keep getting better. Let's keep finding ways to succeed. And that's what I love the most about it.
What did you know about Quinyon when you were first coming to Philly, and now that you've spent several months with him, what has impressed you most about him?
First time I actually seen Quinyon, we was watching tape. This is when I was in New York. And I don't know who he was guarding. I can't remember the team, but I was telling the guys in New York, like, man, I ain't really seen a rookie hoop like this. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing this thing. They looked at me crazy, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then actually meet him, see how mild-mannered he is, how cool he is, humbled, hard worker, very smart, and just a good dude. I think regardless of what everyone does on this field, the thing that I appreciate most is that everybody is a good person, and they welcome me with open arms and just show me love. Like I was a long-distance cousin at the family reunion. Cuz you know what I mean? And it's good to have that feeling, and it makes you appreciate not just them, not just the organization, but ball itself. Appreciate y'all.
And I just feel like, you know, I'm playing out there a lot faster. I know where to be. I know what to expect.
Have you been the one calling the defense so far, and if so, how do you feel like that's going?
Yeah. Me and Zach, we rotate. He'll call defense, I'll call defense. But I think it's going smoothly. You know, I'm just trying to go out there and, you know, make sure I'm doing my job, playing hard, and just, you know, doing what I can to do my part in the defense.
Now that you have more of a grasp of big schemes, what's your favorite part about playing in his scheme?
I'll talk about the backers. I feel like he lets his backers play free. You know, he doesn't like hold you to what specific thing that you have to do. He lets you know, use your instincts and be a linebacker, I would say.
How did you spend your summer preparing for this opportunity?
You know, the same way I did last year. I feel like, you know, I try to make sure even if my role was, you know, with last year with special teams, this year it could be something different. I just try to prepare the same way, like I'm going to go out there and be playing all the snaps if need be. And I feel like that's how you get the best results, and you're always ready when your opportunity comes.
Are there certain areas of your game that you've worked on this offseason?
Oh yeah, I try to work on every single area. You know, there's things I do good do very well in my game, But I try to work everything, even the things I do good. I feel like there's always room to get better and always room to improve.
The fact that you've been kind of the main guy with the ones next to Zach, does that make you view the job as yours to lose?
I feel like right now I'm just trying to make sure I go out there and do my job. You know, if they call me out there and I'm out there with the ones, then I still got to do my job, even if I was out there with the threes or something like that. For me, it's the same thing. I got just going out there when your name is called and making sure you're doing what you got to do.
Is this the most you've been making calls in practice since you've been with Vic?
Oh no, I've always had to make calls in practice too. Echoing the calls. The linebackers I feel like are like the quarterback of the defense. So it may not just be one guy making the calls. It could be somebody making the call in the huddle, and then we got to echo it. The other guy in the linebacker that made the call, we have to echo it out to the defensive line and the safeties, because when you get in the game, the field is loud, the home stadium's loud, wherever you're playing at, and then you got to tell the safeties that could be like maybe 20 yards deep. They may not hear it, so you got to make sure everybody knows it.
What step do you think you need to take to solidify that job?
Just making sure I'm showing the coaches that I know what I got to do. I know they can trust me, and I'm gonna go out there and do my job and make plays.
There's always going to be competition every year in training camp, but when you have someone like Jihaad Campbell coming into the room, how do you feel like he has pushed you in this particular competition?
Yeah, I think Jihaad, along with a lot of other guys, that we have a very deep linebacker room, a lot of talented players, a lot of guys that come in and work and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. And Jihaad's been doing well. He's been learning defense, learning the scheme. Whenever he has questions, if he ask me, ask Zach, ask anybody, we make sure we let him know and try to bring him along.
What do you like about this game that you've seen him out there on the field?
I feel like he's instinctual. He's a big, fast linebacker. I feel like he has all the tools that you would want in a linebacker. So I feel like there's a lot of parts of the game that he does well.
And mentally, when you are going through a competition like that, you're in the same meeting room. What is that like, that relationship, when I'm sure you guys are talking every single day, going for the same job?
Oh, no. I mean, the way that we do it here at the Eagles, I feel like in all position groups, we try to bring guys along. There's always going to be competition, and, everybody wants to go out there and play. But at the end of the day, you got to help the guy next to you, and that's just the right thing to do. That's how I was raised to be as a player. Never, be the guy that, somebody's afraid to ask because they don't know if you're going to help them out. So I always try to help other people and try to, bring guys along with me if they're trying to ask me questions, ask for help.
Was that your dad that taught you that, or someone here at the Eagles organization when you came in last year?
Yeah, I feel like that was a message here, for the Eagles. That was a big thing that a lot of veteran guys, they really bring their heart, and they take the heart and try to teach the young guys. And then, also my dad, growing up, that's just the type of mentality, the type of player that he would teach me to try to be.
In year 2 with Vic, are you seeing levels unlock in this game?
Say that one more time.
In year 2 with Vic, are you seeing levels unlock in this game where you're able to do new things that you weren't doing before?
I feel like since we've had a year in the system, we're starting off a lot faster. We still try to make sure we're not moving along too fast. We're staying, rooting it, like throwing that ground level, the basics up, make sure we do the basics up good, but we can move along a lot faster because we got a lot of veteran guys, a lot of guys that were back from last year that know the defense, know the scheme. So I feel like everything's moving a lot smooth.
How do you treat the offseason after the Super Bowl? How quickly did you get back into it?
Yeah, I try to take a little bit of time off. We had a long season. Sometimes guys can go right back into training too fast, especially if they had a playoff run like we did. But I just try to make sure I give my body time to rest. So I probably maybe 2 weeks, and I got right back into it.
So they say that the biggest jump is, and if you've heard the questions, I apologize, I just jumped in. Year 1 to year 2, biggest jump. Do you feel that?
I feel like, it's kind of like the same routine. It's like getting back. I've been through the training camp. I've been through, the season. I kind of know how it's supposed to look, how the type of routine you have to get into. And I just thank God for that, being able to experience that, so I can have that experience coming into year 2.
Thanks.
Well, obviously a very big competition here at cornerback. How are you evaluating? It seems like every day these reps are getting divided here.
Continuing to work, believe in yourself, trust your preparation, go in the meeting room, watching film, and just continue to grow. I feel like when you compete out there and you're with some of the best guys in the world, in football in general, going against great players, competing great players at your position only brings the best out of each and every single one of us. So it feels really good.
And I remember us talking about this past offseason. How have these experiences of going through these trials of trying to earn the starting job taught you about this year?
Oh man, just going out there, believing in yourself, continue to compete, man. I feel like that's just the name of the game. Going out there, knowing exactly what your job is, competing at a high level, man, and trusting your foundation. When you go out there and trust your foundation and believe who you are as a man, as a player, Lord, and have faith in God, I feel like the sky's the limit.
Why have you grown? Why is this year different? Why do you feel maybe different that you're ready for this starting gig?
Man, experience. Just being able to know what it looks like, guys like Slay and even a young Q out there, going out there having a big role last year and just be able to see exactly what it looks like and just to play at a high level and also taking that step for myself, All of us are here for a reason, and just want to continue to grow and just be able to play at a high level overall.
How is Adoree Jackson, I'm imagining that meeting room with the experience, how is he helping you through this process, even though it is a competition?
Yeah, for sure. He's an older guy, of course. We just want to thrive off each other. Every time we see something and something didn't go our way, we just want to put somebody else in a better position, so when they do see it again, they can hopefully win at the next rep, So, man, just be able to thrive off each other, using their knowledge. Of course, him going in his 9th year, he's seen a lot more things than I have, so just preparing myself, so when I see things that we do talk about, I can take care of it. A.J.
Brown and Devontae Smith, they keep talking to us about going against you guys, how they're taking it as a responsibility to get you ready. What does that mean to you?
It's huge, of course, man. I have a great relationship with both of them. They know who they are, and man, I just want to continue to grow, man. Just compete against them, some of the best guys in the world at what they do, So, man, just continue to thrive, and going against guys like that each and every single day, it can only bring the best out of me. So, yeah.
Thank you, Kelee.
Appreciate you.
Oh my God, I remember. It's amazing, man. I'm excited. Excited to be in the scheme. Excited to be out here on the field. I remember last year I was out here, as they're doing team, I'm on the other field running, trying to get my steps in, trying to stay in shape, trying to get ready so that when I came back week 8, I could be productive. But it's been great so far. I'm excited to be healthy. Excited to have my first full training camp since my rookie year, and just embracing the culture, embracing the team.
What was your focus this offseason?
Just getting my knee right. You know what I mean? Because as much as I wanted to be 100%, I wasn't fully 100% yet, and now my knee's feeling perfect. Put a lot of work in this offseason, and I feel I'm right where I need to be. I think just both of us just competing each and every day. I think that's the big thing. I think also just learning from each other. We both have different games. We both are very highly competitive. So, and also just we sit beside each other in meetings, and I think that's awesome too. We kind of share our thoughts together, and I think it's great.
And also, obviously Cooper's been taking some snaps at safety. What have been your impressions of how?
I think it's awesome, man. Cooper's a very versatile player. Really, he can play any position in the back 7 if he really wanted to. So, I think for us to show his versatility in that way, it's amazing. And, the team only gets better from that.
And it seems like the 3 of you guys, you, Drew, and Cooper, obviously have the versatility. You can play safety and everything. How does that come out?
I think it's amazing. I wouldn't leave Reed out there, too. I think Reed has the versatility to do it as well, because he's smart. He moves. Everybody doesn't give him the credit for it, but he moves really well. So I think, the 4 of us, being as versatile as we are, I think it just adds value to the defense. That's it.
So the actual mechanics of this competition in practice, there's a lot of rotating, a lot of mixing and matching.
Yeah.
Is that difficult to keep track of? Is it all planned out ahead of time? How does that
I don't know. I just kind of listen for my name to be called, and I go and I enter, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Is that more difficult than if you knew exactly when?
No, not at all. I think this football is a game of the unknown, and as a defensive player, you got to learn how to react, no matter what the situation. No matter if a player goes down. So. I think the random rotation is great. It kind of keeps you on your toes, kind of keeps you, paying attention to each and every snap, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Sorry if you've been asked, but this is a big moment for you. How have you looked at this opportunity?
No different than I did last year. Or as I did as a rookie. Just being better than I was the day before, building each and every day. Taking advantage of my opportunities and reps, and I think that's all I can do. I'm a fierce competitor. I love to compete. I embrace the competition, and I just love our room. I love the guys. I love this team, and I think we're miles ahead of where we were last year. I think I'm miles ahead of where I was last year. Up to this point, being able to have a full OTAs, being able to have full training camp, being fully healthy, 100% with my knees. So I just got to keep building. That's it. And that's all I focus on.
Do you think your worst critic is you?
Absolutely. There's nobody that could. There's absolutely.
How's the worst critic evaluating your game
right now?
Yeah.
I think I'm playing playing really good football right now. Really, really good football. I always stay humble about it, and I just each and every day, I just want to get better and better. And I think I'm doing that.
I think very few people can relate to a competition like this where you compete on the field, then you have to go into a meeting room, and I'm sure you're friends with these guys. What is that dynamic like when you're all going for the same job?
I mean, we're grown men. You know what I mean? I think that's what this is. Everybody goes through it every single year, and you know how I look at it is, you know, best man wins, and you know, I'm gonna continue to build and continue to help everybody to the best of my ability. You know, especially the new guys and everybody in the room, help in any way I can possible, and just embrace it. You know, I think each and every day, like, we just grow closer and closer, and you know, I think the competition brings the best out of all of us, and I think it honestly brings us closer as well.